This is Weather Center Live. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Chris Warren.
And I'm Jen Carfagno, and we are in the lab today with our storm specialist, Dr. Greg Postel. We're talking about Winter Storm Remus and some major winter weather coming to the Deep South.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be all kinds. We're going to have the rain, we're going to have the sleet, the snow, maybe even some thunderstorms. And it's not just the southeast, it's impacting many places up the East Coast, too. So wide-ranging impacts, guys.
Expect it here in the South.
And Chris, I think a lot of people are asking, but is it really going to snow, right? And so that's what we're going to break down here, sort of look at the uncertainty and the odds of who's going to get how much snow. So, Greg, you know, it's a pretty wide swath, pretty large area of real estate affected by this.
Yeah, and the biggest areas, I think, are going to be in that zone right there, all the way through central North Carolina, the Piedmont, the Triangle, Research Triangle area. It's going to get a lot of snow, and it's also north from there into D.C. So there's a lot of real estate here involved in this event. But let's now focus on the southern side, because people in the south are a little bit less used to dealing with it. And what I'm showing you here is the past 3 hours, the movement of the 32-degree line. Everywhere here shaded in blue has the temperature below 32, the freezing line. So, but notice how it's moving kind of northward over the last few hours. I can show you that it's taken a track in that direction. So that is perhaps a good sign for, say, central Alabama, maybe even places near Atlanta. That's a good thing. We'd want it above 32. But if you put the radar on top of that,
so we bring
Jen,
this precip into the places where the air is already sub 32. You're going to encounter problems first.
Right in here, the radar is depicting some freezing rain. So the rain is coming down and freezing right over that air that is below 32 degrees. And I think we're going to see some more of that as we head in that direction. So watch out in northern Alabama over the next couple of, I would say, hours.
You know, we look at a place like Birmingham, like Atlanta. There certainly is uncertainty when it comes to the forecast for today. The northern parts of the states, Alabama and Georgia, more likely to get snow.
That's right. And it is going to be moving northeastward from there. And overnight tonight, I think central North Carolina is going to get hammered, as is southern Virginia. As we go through the early morning hours, it should be mostly out of the region, I think, by rush hour in the morning.
But when you go into a city center like Atlanta, you see the gradient of snow expected across the region.
That's a tight gradient, Jen. What that means is that there is a large probability of getting nothing, but it's also equally distributed about getting 3 inches plus.
There's a chance of 0. There's a chance of 3 inches plus. Here
I'm not making this up. You can look at that and say, well, that's really a forecast. But this shows you how difficult it is in some of these major cities in the South, like Birmingham and Atlanta.
Excellent, Greg. Thank you. Chris, over to you. Kate, and you know what? I want to time that out for you because you talked about that gradient. We can show folks what we are dealing with here in the Atlanta area. So, you know, let's look at, this morning it's fine. There's some low clouds, but no other major issues. But we get into the lunchtime hour and it's rain.
It's rain, but then you go north of Atlanta and temperatures will be warmer, though. So it looks like it will be rain down into the airport, which is down here.
So this is 10 o'clock tonight. Again, so we're going to do some switching back and forth. And then after that, this is the overnight timing. We've got snow working in through the northwestern suburbs, the northern suburbs, but still rain on the south side of town, which is where the airport is.
And that's where Kate Parker is. And so let's go back to Kate. And Kate, we understand that the spokesperson for the airport spoke a little earlier. What'd you get?
It's here mainly to the east and south of I-95 at the moment. You can see right there is where it's still coming down at a steady clip.
And so we are seeing that snow here over the last 6 hours as you look at the time here, and it does include that stretch here that goes through Bangor from the west and then to the east and to the north.
All right, so we are still dealing with the snow again, lighter snow at the moment now as the storm continues to exit out on the northern part of 95. Let's talk about the system in the south, though, Chris.
Yes.
So we've got Interstate 85 set up here across the south, and we're going to look at precip types as we fly through what's happening. This is 85.
This is 85, yes. And notice here, as we look at it, 85, in the rain, Atlanta, for most of the day, but we're talking about that rain changing to snow if you go north a little bit, and that's what 85 does. It does take you north.
It's really interesting to watch, too. You know, one side of 85 we'll be dealing with one type of wintry weather. On the other, we could be dealing with just plain old rain. Once you get into South Carolina, North Carolina, though, it's a different story.
And this is when things get a little interesting. We see here, you can see the precipitation type coming down, and notice you have the rain and the snow. You get farther to the north and in some cases just to the east, and you're going to have a better chance for snow.
You know, we go up towards Charlotte on 85, and a very similar situation where we are going to be looking at that gradient, although more likely that we'll see the snow, and the snow could be heavy at times up here on 85, especially heading to the north of Charlotte.
But still, in Charlotte, Jen, it's really just on the edge there. However, if you look up the road a little bit, it looks like you have a better chance for snow coming up here.
We're traveling through Winston-Salem and Greensboro, and again, we're looking at snowfall. We go over towards Chapel Hill. We've got the snowfall, Raleigh, and the Triangle area snow. And overnight tonight is when some of that snow is really going to be heavy at times.
And that's it. Snow could get clobbered in Raleigh.
And the good thing is it is going to be the worst of the snow will be falling in the overnight period when hopefully you are off the roads. But welcome back everyone to Weather Center Live. When southern cities get even an inch of snow, it's a big deal. But you saw some big numbers on that map, anywhere from 3 to 5 or 5 to 8 inches of snow in North Carolina, if not more. So we're tracking it all. I'm Jen Carfagno along with Chris Warren.
And Jen, we know that so